And we are back at it once again. Hello there, trainers. Greetings. KuroBlitz here. Welcome back to another video. And now, you must be wondering, by the title of this, what's it really going to be about, right? So, Pokemon. That's what you're here for, right? Hopefully. If the algorithm reached you outside of my community sphere, great. Pokemon. Specifically Gold and Silver. You know, the Generation 2 games. Today is November 21st, and these games are out in the world, at least in Japan, by 26 years. Right? And this game and the remakes, they stood the test of time, and because it's a game with two regions, people say it's perfect, right? And what happens when things in history are said to be perfect? They're going to be tested. They're going to be dissected to, you know, the most minute detail of whatever, right? A lot of recent years, there have been some critiques about these video games, and also Crystal, and the remakes. Now, I want to point it out. This basically all started because, you know, Joe Merrick, the guy about Cerebi.net, nothing against him, cool. But in 2018, before we got Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, he made a tweet about, you know, Gen 2 being, you know, objectively the worst generation, in his opinion, objectively the worst generation. See the conundrum here? Because the unavailability of actual new Pokemon, the level curve, and you all seen reviews about, you know, by Tamashi Hiroka and Digino Gaming and, you know, so on and so forward about, you know, these games, right? So, for years that these games were being treated like sacred relics and like the perfect sequels and, you know, the golden age of Pokemon. But if you scroll through modern forums or, you know, YouTube comments, you will see a shift with words such as, you know, overrated, slow, nostalgia blind, you know, being replaced by this reverence. And I want to ask myself and also you guys, what really happened, right? Did these games really age badly? Or have times changed and we forgot how to appreciate them? Because why do fans hate these games nowadays? And I think it's because of these games having, you know, having a quote-unquote legacy of perfection, you know? Because they were not just sequels, they were kind of like technological miracles. Because Satoru Iwata, may he rest in peace, like comprising the Kanto in the memory cartridge, it was something unprecedented. Granted, Kanto is not really a region, it's a ghost. It's a memory of the former Kanto, because it's very... They could have had, you know, you win the Indigo League, and like in Alola where you get like challenges, you could have like the Kanto gym leaders challenging you, instead of, you know, going through Kanto, right? But, you know, I feel like if Johto was done today, it would have been like that. Or, Johto would not be a generation at all, it would have been a DLC. And I feel like that's where the critique comes into it, because Johto, it feels like a DLC, because they cannot really make Johto without Kanto attached, which is unfortunate for Johto's identity, because in case you don't know, instead of Legends ZA, they wanted to have a Legends Johto. They wanted to do it in Ecruteak City. The ZA was going to be a DLC for Scarlet and Violet, so Zygarde, poor thing, and Blueberry Academy was going to be in Alola, because Game Freak wants to avoid Unova with everything they got. But to shut up the Unova people, they gave them a black and white tree with Blueberry being in Unova and not in Alola, even though it's more Alola coded. And they made ZA, and the Johto things, they were repurposed for Kitakami, right? I feel like people don't understand. Kitakami has a lot of echoes to Johto. You have like a grass legendary in Ogerpon, that's Celebi. You have a trio of Pokemon that are revived, being the Beasts and the Loyals. They are led by another Pokemon and that's Petulant and Ho-Ho, and you have like a beast related to the moon, that's Ursaluna and Lugia, right? Even Ursaluna not being a bird like Lugia, that's like a homage to the original Silver mascot, whatever their name may be. But yeah, like, why are Johto, why are the Johto games being criticized nowadays? I feel like it's because the nature of the Johto games being, a JRPG with, characters having really challenging themes, I feel like the new Pokemon were mainly designed to be something new to find and a challenge to obtain. They were the rare, because they were the new ones. They were not designed as, oh, they're the new ones, we are going to market them. They were more designed with the philosophy of they're the new ones, they are going to be rarer to find, they are your challenge to get. And I feel like people don't understand that these games offered a lot of things that we still carry over to this day. Breeding, rematches, held items, the day and night cycle, like, these were not just bigger games, they were complete worlds. And for many fans, this was like, an evolution. Pokemania died after these games came out, but it wasn't because of these games. It was because, 2 years have passed. Fads go away. Like, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee would not be done today because time has passed since Pokemon Go. That's why you don't have a Let's Go Johto or a Let's Go whatever, right? And when a game is remembered as perfection like these are, they are going to be tested with time, and time only has one way of treating things that are remembered as perfect and as myth. They are going to be dissected, they're going to be demystified, they are going to go through every nook and cranny of these games to basically say your childhood, what you treasure, what you saw as flawed is trash. It doesn't matter. It's the nature of humankind. You like something, I'm gonna make you not like it anymore. And people do this with anime, they do this with games, they do this with anything that you are going to treasure. And something that's called silver and gold, like the gemstones of actual numerical monetary value, people are going to criticize it. Yes, Johto has problems. Yes, the new Pokemon are not in the spotlight. The level curve is abysmal. The Pokemon from the post-game, even in the remakes, they are put in the Safari Zone, and it's the most clunky, bullshitty Safari Zone ever. But that's the thing. These games are 26 years old as of today. These games were not conceived as the games of today. The games of today, if you see people playing it or streaming it or whatever, Pokemon games are not really only easier, but it's a combination of the games being easier because they are globally releasing now. But it's also because people have more time to play it. They don't have more time, they have more time to play it because you see a lot of people, finish this game in 3 days or less than a weekend. Because they binge play it. They don't know how to appreciate the Pokemon world. They just go through the story, they just mash the A button because the competitive shit, it's after the main campaign. And I will even give this to Joe. His critique of, not liking this, it stems from a genuine place because when this game was released, he was 15 years old, okay? And the same, if people were born, this game's 99, 2000. So, people who are in the 2000, even in the anime sphere, the manga saved it. Because, again, Johto would be a DLC because they reused Team Rocket again, right? The manga saved Johto's ass. The anime didn't do any favors, it was the manga. The manga is the one that gives Silver a character and personality. In the games, he's just another guy. Just another guy. Just another guy. To the point where the anime doesn't even utilize him realistically. But I feel like it's like the thing, like the answer lies on pacing, it lies on structure, and it lies on, expectation. This was the second game of Pokemon. There were no expectations. Now we expect more of Pokemon because we were given more, we were given better, so of course that our expectations are higher. But that's the thing. We, as fans, as a community, we should not give standards of 2025 to a game that released in 1999. When people are judging Gold and Silver today, they are seeing the challenges of a JRPG, like the level curve, the trade evolutions, so on and so forth. The obtaining of apricorns and the getting the items and via cell phone, people are not seeing these challenges as they were conceived as such, as challenges. They are seeing this as inconveniences, because with the games being easier and allowing for people to have like a more enjoyable experience, they are going to look at these games with the lenses of nowadays, and they are going to judge it by nowadays standards. And that's a flaw. Everyone was going to commit this, that's fair. It's like, it's perfectly natural. But I just want for people to realize that, it's not stupid, but it's flawed. You cannot judge a thing from almost 30 years ago by comparing it to, the standards of today. I feel like it's very unfair. Like, these games in magazines and articles are like 10 out of 10s, best thing ever, Pokemon peaked here, so on and so forth. It didn't. It didn't. Like, again, Kanto was just a ghost, it was a memory. Like, there are no NPCs. Like, the overlay of, like, you have more Rattatas than Sentrets and Route 29 of the Johto region. It's like, Professor Oak is the one that introduces you to the game. It's not even Professor Elm. It's not Professor Elm. Like, these are not really game-breaking flaws, but they are noticeable today because of constant feedback loop online, because we have experience candies and whatever, and we get options because we are 7 generations after the fact. In retrospective, these like these things from back then, they feel deliberate for the kids of back then, and those were people born in the 80s. They are 40 plus now. If people didn't like Gen 2, like the only Gen 2 haters that I can really give a crap about are the people that experienced Gen 2 as it was starting and airing. Being people born before 95. Because if you were born in 94 or earlier, when Johto was around, you would be at least 6. You would know how to read and write because you were at school already. If you were born after 95 and you hate Johto, you are chronically online. If you hate Johto, you are chronically online. Because people are doing these reviews, these essays, these videos about this is shit and that, and I'm like, you did not experience Johto. The first time you experienced Johto, it wasn't even the remakes. It wasn't even the Pokewalker. The first time you experienced Johto, it was the Fire and Leaf Green Post game, or if you were rich enough, it was the GameCube Pokemon. You did not experience Johto as a region when it first came out. You experienced the Pokemon of said region. To the point where a lot of people think that a lot of Gen 2 Pokemon are Gen 3 because, the availability was lesser when they debuted. The thing is, what really changed? That's like, the core premise of, this video. Like, 15 minutes in. Like, what did really change? It's not really the modern games being better just because they sell more. They sell more because kids from yesterday now have pocket money to spend. Because, if they can binge a game in 3 days, they clearly don't have bills to pay because they live with their parents, and that's why they have time to, stream this shit. Or, they get money from their significant others, or they work online because of the pandemic. They never really got a non-remote job, and they are unemployed. A lot of people binge this shit, and they are very much chronically online speaking about Pokemon and doing these silly debates because they are unemployed. A lot of people probably never got a job after COVID. Like, they have been, without work for 4 to 5 years. That's like a sad reality. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy, but no other Pokemon YouTuber is going to point this out. I have to be the one point this out for you, right? These modern games get, instant gratification for faster experience, and, because people are online, they are on community discords, they were formerly on Skypes during Gen 5, 6, and 7, right? The philosophy of the nowadays games, it's not based on patience. Back then it was. Back then people had patience. They had to wait actual day and night. They had to wait actual days of the week. Because the exploration of these games, of this Pokemon world, of these two regions, they were not an experience based on reward. They were based on rhythm. People nowadays, they don't know how to wait. They don't know the value of patience. Why do you think a lot of people are reading manga chapters as, their synopses and summaries are leaked? Why do you think that, Pokemon theories and leaks are in boom right now? Because people don't know how to wait. And because people don't know how to wait, when they get the thing that, were being theorized about, and it doesn't meet the expectations that they built themselves with or without leaks, when they get them, they get disappointed. And this is not just for the games, for the anime too. Heck, I was victim of this. I haven't really been, real talk here, I haven't been passionate about Pokemon since I was 19. When the XYZ anime ended and we got Sun and Moon, I clocked out. Internally, I clocked out. For me, this was Stockholm Syndrome. The last fun that I had playing a Pokemon game was Sun and Moon, before I turned 20. I have been on this, committed relationship with the IP out of, not really love, but wanting this to change for the better for almost 10 years. My 20s have been a fucking pain. You don't understand. And people treat this shit like a fucking cult sometimes. And the thing is, people need to realize that Johto was not meant to be consumed back then as games are meant to be consumed right now, because they were made differently. It's just a difference of era and a difference of generation. People criticize it now because it's easier. They now have an avenue for it. Back then they did not. They kept it to themselves. And people were, saying, oh, but these are great because Pokemon can follow you in the remakes. And I'm like, yeah, but these are not bad games. They are very much outdated. They are outdated. If Johto was a nowadays game, it all depends on how they would do a Johto. Would they do the same game? Would they be the SP Heart Gold Soul Silver? Like, if Ilka grabbed Johto and put it in modern times, would people like it? Or would people like the games and or the region? What do you like about this? What do you like about Gen 2? And I don't mean Gen 4, I mean Gen 2. Game Boy Color era Gen 2. Because the sprites and the pixel art, they were gorgeous. Like, they have charm to it. And a lot of the things that, people are going to remember things as they went through it. They are going to remember this with rose-colored lenses. It's okay. It's valid. You are going to remember and judge things based on how you experience them and not how they are, seen today. Because nowadays everyone wants to be a YouTube essayist or an analyst or a theorizer or a reviewer or whatever the fuck have you. But Johto has great moments, like battling Red. in the top of Mount Silver is still talked to this very day for a reason. It's because it's raw as shit. Okay? Like, the remakes did prioritize authenticity over modernization, which, again, fair, because the fact that we got Johto remakes, it's an actual miracle, because the Pokemon, they were in the Sebi Islands and in the Ore region. They had no need to actually remake Gen 2. They did it out of, sheer passion and love. But why do people hate the games now? Again, it's because it's not for today's time. People don't have time. They have time to speed run the game, but not to play or experience it. And that's a lot of the problem with Pokemon nowadays. People are binge consuming Pokemon. Because I have to be the first one to upload this video, I have to be the first one to do this theory, I have to be the first one to review this part of the plot or this episode or whatever the hell. Pokemon games were built for summertime, not for speedruns. Like, these games, these worlds, they were not products when they were made. They were like rituals in a way. Like, these games were not designed to thrill us, they were designed to belong to us. They made a world for us to be in, not for us to complete. Because Johto realistically has no story. It's just Team Rocket doing shit. In the games, they have no story. They have inklings of lore, but it's all mainly anecdotic. Lugia has no paraphrasing in the game dialogue whatsoever. All of this, oh, the Sprout Tower and the other, like, Johto has a shit ton of caves and there is no, like, third bird legendary. There is no Pokemon Bronze. You have Gold Sky, Silver Sea, there is no Bronze Land. And Johto has a shit ton of caves. Also, fuck Johto for making Whirlpool a TM and HM. Fuck that shit. Like, Johto created a lot of problems too. I don't want, they made 3 more HMs and that bled in for, Hoenn and Sinnoh. In some way, shape, or form. So the thing is that we remember them this way because we are being honest. Like, the thing is that these games are the games that taught us how to slow down. Did Gold and Silver change? No. We did. We changed. And that's the problem. We are judging things based on how we changed and not how things were back then. Like, are you really going to judge a movie that was made in 1950 or before based on today's writing narrative standards? You are not. It's practically impossible, right? These games were called complete. These games were called untouchable because you have new Pokemon. You have new you have a lot of new things. The critiques happen because time happens. Yes, the Johto games have a slow-ass pacing. Gym leaders in the post-game are lower than the Elite Four. The dream of having 2 regions, that was the exception, not the rule. And look what they did with Kanto. I feel like we need to point this out one thing. The Ghost Tower is now another radio tower, so the identity of Lavender Town is lost. Okay? Blaine loses his hometown of Cinnabar Island and he has to make his gym on the Seafoam Islands, but you lose the identity of the Seafoam Islands to make the Blaine gym. Who's in the Elite Four? Koga. For Janine to be like a Nepo baby. Why did the Elite Four not put Blaine there? Why Koga? Put Blaine there. He's the homeless guy now. And yeah, some Johto Pokemon are in Kanto, people are gonna, point that out. And again, people gotta be patient. you don't know how to treasure your time with, your mom's like your mom saving your pocket money and then, buying items and whatever, or, you having to wait real time for berries to grow. Like, even if you want to go back far, like Gen 4 with the honey trees, fuck that shit. Like, really, fuck the honey trees. Actually, fuck Diamond and Pearl in general. But the games have charm. The NPCs of Gold and Silver and even Crystal, like, they all have something to offer. Yes, Crystal gave us the battle tower that became a staple for every region, except Alola because they had the battle, a battle facility. We had a battle tower, battle frontier, battle tower, battle frontier, battle subway, battle maison, battle tree, battle tower again, and then you got the dojo. Paldea has the Blueberry Academy. Paldea has no battle facility. That's crazy. They have like the star shit, but that doesn't really count, does it? No. And you get to play as a girl after Crystal. So it's like, hey, you lose Marie, but you can play as a girl. It's actually crazy. Like, imagine nowadays, if they made Pokemon Platinum and Luxray was not in the decks. That's how bad it is. That would be so goddamn garbaggio, man. What the hell? Man. Poor Mareep, man. And it's not like Johto has not been getting love. We got a Hisuian evolution for Cyndaquil. We got Megas for the other two. And even a lot of Pokemon they've been getting shit, like Clodsire, Farigiraf, Donphan gets Paradoxus, Ursaring gets an evolution and a Blood Moon form. We get like Overquill. Scyther gets another thing for, instead of Caesar, we got Cleaver. Like, Johto has been getting love. Johto has been getting love. Not a game, but Johto as like the identity. Like, even in Gen 4, a lot of Pokemon got, complete things, if you really think about it. Like, Murkrow in Gen 9 is a demon on VGC. Like, the remakes do offer the dilemma, because they should have been the answer with, beautiful graphics and, the Pokewalker, and it's like, but they exposed the same old fractures of the original Gen 2 games. Like, they were not really reinventions, they were more preservations, Like, people talk about BDSP, but Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they kind of were the same. The thing is, they didn't look like Gold and Silver, like how BDSP looks like DP, right? And we get Eugene and Suicune shit there, even though it doesn't really offer anything new. Entei luckily had a movie that people remember because it's goated, but poor Raikou doesn't really get anything. If they were to make Johto today, they would probably do like the storyline being divided in three, like how they did with Scarvy and they did it with ZA for, Tawny, Lida, and Naveen. They would probably, like, quick exercise. If they were to make Johto today, what they would do probably, it would be, you go from New Bark to Violet City. Stays the same. Stays the damn same. Lyra would be your rival along with Silver. The thing is, I feel like Chris would be in the game for like a third route. And she will probably be in Violet City because, in the manga, she is in the Pokemon Academy, right? With Mr. Earl Dervish or whatever his name is. In Japanese, it's Giovanni. It's kind of weird. If these games were made today, after you reach Violet City, there would be no Sudowoodo. You would go to Ecruteak. You would awaken the beasts early. And what would happen? Every beast would go to a different cardinal point. West, east, south. And then the world would open. You could go east to Mahogany and Blackthorn. You could go west to Olivine and Sirenwood. Or you could go south to Goldenrod and Azalea. If Johto was written today, they would not have the Sudowoodo blocking your path. They would make you go to Ecruteak early, awaken the beasts, and have a different storyline for each of the beasts correlating to Silver, Chris, and Lyra. That's probably what they would do if they were to do Johto today. Or they would do a Legends Johto just in Ecruteak City. And you would see all the Johto Pokemon in there. That was pitched. In the Terra Leak we see, the idea for that was pitched. They didn't convert a Johto game to a Kalos game midway, no. They offered the idea, it just never saw the light of day. It's basically that. They show a PowerPoint slide or an Excel sheet and no more, no less. But yeah, fans praised these games out of nostalgia, fair. But they also realized that they have design problems that were not really gone. And that's why people, try to fix them with ROM hacks and shit. Like, the remakes just offered higher resolution. Like, they are more like time capsules. They are comfortable, they're familiar, but they're also fragile, They prove that you cannot modernize a memory without breaking it. But yeah, that's the paradox, funny enough. That's the paradox of the Johto games. Like, it has a timeless heart, but it has an ancient system. You can polish it, you can remaster it, you can remap it, but you can really update the feeling without losing it. Like, Johto is a game of, in the now, from back then. It's a be here now. It's not really a game for you to complete, it's a game for you to be in. It's a game for you to belong, Like, when people talk about Johto, they talk about the experience that they have, like, oh, I did the Pokeathlon, it was cool. Or, like, oh, I did the Battle Tower, it was great. Or I was in the Safari Zone, I helped the Kimono Girls. Oh, I got Pokeball Leprechauns from Kurt, and so on and so, like, you remember these pockets of time. And you see the region change with colors and atmosphere and shit. When you enter Ecruteak, there's like, a gate, like those what's the name of those Japanese gates? I'm forgetting the name. Let me know in the comments. I'm really forgetting the name of those. A Tori gate. It's a Tori gate. Funny enough, Tori means bird, so ho-ho, right? Man. And the Poke Gear, right? Man. Like, Gold and Silver were not perfect. They were not designed to be perfect. That was not the point of those games. They were stories about patience. They were about waiting up until late night to get that one Pokemon. Or they were about, you waking up in the early morning, like 4 or 5 a.m. to get that 5% chance Phanpy. They were about, you talking with friends in the schoolyard. And you are not there anymore. And if you are with them in the workforce, you are going to talk about it in memory. Like, no one is going to say, hey, you want to play Gold and Silver tonight? Johto and chill? No. Also because, like, batteries died and link cables are a missing relic. Like, maybe the reason why their critics sound louder today is because Johto reminds us of something uncomfortable. That once upon a time, we didn't play games to finish them, we played games to feel something. Like, Gold and Silver taught us that time matters. Funny enough, Celebi, right? That endings can coexist with new beginnings, and that the journey home may be the most important part of all. Which is crazy. Like, I want to point this out. When you return, like, people, like, when you go back home, you have the Kanto in your backyard. That's like an insane thing. But yeah, these games taught us how to slow down. They have charm, they have chime. And man, people just gotta realize that these games are relics of their time. And they are not meant to be played nowadays by nowadays standards. They are not meant to be speedruns, they are meant to be summers. Actually, try to make a gameplay of this with a friend during vacation. With the remakes or the originals. Just let it be known, in the remakes, trade evolution items are paywalled after you complete the national dex, so it's a redundant conundrum. Like, but yeah, give it a try. Maybe you will find some new appreciation for Generation 2. Try to make it a playthrough on your own. Don't make more than half an hour a day, because your time is less. Or, if you commute to work, emulate it on your phone and, play it. And don't do like, if you, sorry, and try to play like the original product. Like, not a ROM hack, not a updated, not a remake, not an optimized version. Try to, well, not really buy a cartridge because those are gone, but try to experience Johto as it was designed to be experienced, And if possible, have the audio on. Appreciate the humming of the radio, the auto-tune, like that 8-bit, charm in a way, Is there anything else that I have to list? Like, nowadays games have faster menus, yeah. When you go to when you arrive to Vermilion City, you realize that Kanto is empty, yeah. The games kinda stayed the same, yeah. Taught us how to slow down, the value of patience, people know how to wait. I don't think there is much. Yeah, there really isn't much now, is it? But yeah, it's been over half an hour. So, I want to learn your thoughts on the Johto region and the Gen 2 games as a whole. And overall this discussion and this experience. Let me know about it in the comment section down below. Please and thank you. Also, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. I really do much appreciate it. If you like more of these discussions about video games or these personal dissections, also let me know. Like if you want to me talk about like another game or another series or whatever. Like I'm an open book. But yeah. Thank you so much for your time, trainers. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you another time. KuroBlitz out.